First one, Chromebook turned to Linux.
Quick sync, which I will explain more on that.
ET, the dumping grounds have been found.
Facebook stalking just got a lot easier.
Twitter may let users mute other users.
10G Wi-Fi.
$1,500 Google Glass is only worth $80.
A badass little computer.
And Neversoft merges with Infinity Ward.
8K TV, Google Glasses cost $80, and Titan Z postponed.
Hey, you got the same topic as me with the Google Glass.
Oh, well. Really?
Yeah, we actually picked the same topics. Awesome.
Hello, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls. It's that time of week again to talk tech. It's time for the NerbNet Podcast, brought to you by Nearby Nation and the DNS Tech Pack. Today, talking all the things tech that happened this week, AJ Epic Games, and Madcock83. And now for your host, Nearby Gamer.
Alright, so let's go ahead and get started into this. So, I don't actually have it with me right now. It's actually behind me. But Chromebook, I went ahead and purchased a Chromebook. I actually, big shocker here, I sold my Xbox 360 and my PS3. Hate me now.
Blasphemy.
I don't use it. It's just been sitting to the side, and I haven't actually touched them in like 8 months. So it's like, you know what? I'm getting rid of them. I'm not going to deal with them anymore. So I traded it in for a Chromebook. And it's the...
I don't use my appendix every day, but I don't go and get rid of it.
Nice. Yeah, that's right. I only use one ear, so I'm going to go ahead and get the other ear chopped off. That's just how it works. But I actually went ahead and bought a Chromebook. It's the Acer C720. And first of all, Chrome OS is okay, but living in a browser is just not my way. So I decided, and I'm not a Linux guy either. This is my first attempt with Linux besides server Linux, so but it's awesome. It's awesome. I've went through 3 different Linux distros, and the first 2 were really laggy. They didn't work very well. Ubuntu and Cinnamon. Oh, actually, it's the same OS with Cinnamon on top of it, which is a user interface. So I know Madcock's like Cinnamon Toast Crunch. No, it's like a user interface for Ubuntu, and it works okay, but it's laggy. So what I went ahead and did is I put Bodhi on it, and what Bodhi is it's like a streamlined version of Linux. So it's almost, I would say the user interface is almost close to what Windows is, like back in the day. It's not new Windows, but it's old Windows, and it works really well. The only thing I'm learning is trying to get like hardware to work appropriately. Like last night I wanted to get Bluetooth working, and Bluetooth had some problems, but I was able to get it all working. This distro was like purposely made for Chromebook as well, so it actually worked great. So I would recommend, if you need just an internet because I was watching Twitch streams last night on it, and I was also, you can actually remote in. So the main reason I bought it was I wanted to remote into my home PCs wherever I was, and I wanted a fast little box to do it. And this Chromebook for $200 is pretty fast. You get 16 gigs of SD, 100 gigs of cloud storage if you want Google. That comes with it for 2 years, I think. And then it's an Intel. Can't remember what do they call it?
I was looking at them a Centrino. I was looking at them a few weeks ago. Yeah,
they're really not that bad for what they are. I mean, I would recommend if you're technically needing something not for like gaming. Actually, speaking of gaming, Steam streaming. You guys like in-home streaming? Say you're at your computer and you're like, I want to sit down on the couch and I want to play my games. This thing actually does Steam streaming. I hooked it up. Not only did I Steam stream from it, like I was playing Borderlands 2 from it, and this is over wireless and almost zero latency. It was like really close to zero latency. So I was playing Steam streaming from it, went to my computer, or went to my TV in the background, which you guys probably can't see because the camera's turned differently. But I actually HDMI'd to the TV and was playing Borderlands, streaming to that little Chromebook to the TV, and it was perfect. I was like, what? This is a $200 Steam streaming box? It's awesome. Now, only if Steam would actually make it, instead of in-home, everywhere, like NVIDIA Shield has made it. So that's my main goal of that, is like, as soon as that happens, the $200 box would be worth it, just for Steam streaming alone. Picture having a $1,500 computer with you wherever you go, but not paying $1,500 for it. It's awesome.
I kind of do that with, why can't I think of the name of it now? TeamViewer.
Oh, you use TeamViewer to remote in?
Well, yeah, I actually have it on my work computer, and all the computers I've built for various people, I installed it. So when they call me and say, something's not working right, just remote in and fix whatever they screwed up. And
I've heard a good alternative to TeamViewer now is Chrome's got its own remote desktoping situation, which a guy at work was like, it's like RDP, and I'm like, it's kind of like VNC, because VNC basically just casts a picture and lets you mess with the image. It doesn't let you change the resolution of the screens. Like for remoting, for RDP, you actually get to, like, say, I have 3 screens set up here. I remote in with my little netbook or Chromebook. It actually shrinks down to 1 screen in the resolution of the Chromebook. So it actually works really well. And if I'm at work, I can remote in and have 2 screens. But I don't use Chrome OS, so that's my topic. What do you got?
Quick sync. Now, this is going to be for anybody who is streaming to Twitch, and my crap just started playing on its own. Streaming to Twitch using OBS. You've probably seen it in the settings under encoding. I think the default one is X264 or something like that. But if you have an Intel processor, you're going to have a little option that says Quick Sync. And what this does, let's say you're streaming a game. On the video game side, you're going to be using your processor to do the processes, and you're going to be using your graphics cards for the graphics. But as far as streaming goes, the image that you're sending is being completely encoded by your processor. That little check lets you use the GPU side of your APU processor. Like we talked about a few weeks ago about how Intel or AMD is doing all these things with their APUs, the integrated graphics processors inside your normal CPU. Well, QuickSync will let you use that GPU part of your processor instead of just sitting there doing nothing while you're streaming. So you're going to get a lot less lag, a lot less crappy quality of your video. It just lets you use part of your computer that you normally wouldn't be using. And of course, it's worthless for me because I have an AMD processor, but I thought it would be a very helpful hint for others that do have it. And it's not something you have to buy. It's not something you have to wait to come out on the next CPU, next gen of whatevers. It's already in there. It's already out on most of the current Intel processors.
Speaking of the next gen of Intel processors, they're going to be the same socket, but they're not going to be quality. They're not going to be able to be used on the same motherboards that we use now. So it's that kind of. I'm getting the reason why. I mean, there's going to be different chipset stuff that's going to be changed on the board itself, but.
So if they're going to have to switch up with motherboards, they might as well make the socket that's better for them. And I don't know how many people actually watching know why socket sizes keep changing. It's because of I can't remember it now. Intel, the numbers like what's the current one? I'm blanking on them. 1150 or something like that.
Something like that, yeah, 1150.
The numbers are actually the connections that the processor's making to the motherboard. If it's 1150, the 50 part means there's 50 connections around that outside ring, and the 11's like the little tiny square inside the processor, something like that. And they're changing them because they need to. They might need to make more connections, or they can take some out and make some other connections better. So, if you got to get a new motherboard, and you're doing that to get the new processor, they should just change the socket if they really need to.
I think they should, at least if they're making advances in the processor alone without changing the socket. Why wasn't this on last gen?
Change. They need to sell more.
I guess so. Apparently,
it's a business.
There's actually not going to be a K version on this new set that's coming out. You have to wait until the Canyon something that comes out in I think it's summertime it'll come out, but that's going to have the K version. But the whole new processors that they've actually listed, none of them have Ks, which means, if you guys don't know what K is, K means it's unlocked. K means that you can actually overclock it, which you can overclock it anyways, but you can actually modify the core clocks and all that.
If you're planning to overclock, you want to go.
You want a K.
You want to go with the K.
Yeah.
The same as what is that? The Black Edition for AMD, is that
I think
equal to the K?
I don't know. I think all AMDs are pretty much overclockable.
That's what I thought too. AMD, I'm a fanboy. I like AMD.
Cheap.
I just bought my That's the thing. I just bought my processor maybe a month ago and went back to build somebody else's computer earlier this week, and it's already dropped $30 from what I paid for it, and it was cheap then.
Exactly. Yeah, it just gets cheaper and cheaper.
They have come out with the 9350. Now I want that thing.
Yeah, and Bitcoin has pretty much went downhill, so video cards are getting cheaper now too. Because they got these backstocks of video cards that they were supposed to sell to these Bitcoin miners, and they're just not flowing as much as they want to. So you'll probably see a drop on video cards before soon too as well.
Do you know how Bitcoin works? Bitcoin mining?
Yeah, I know how it's GPU rendering.
I know I've seen what it takes to do it.
Yeah.
I don't know exactly how it works. I've never stopped to actually read up on it.
I've actually done Dogecoin mining before, but that was on Linux boxes and that was CPU through droplets on DigitalOcean. But just to see how it works and how efficient it is, and it's not really that efficient. So it's just something that if you're really wanting to get into crypto mining, that's something to get into. But I think Bitcoin was the only one that's probably going to go anywhere, and it's going somewhere, and then it's going back down. It's going somewhere.
I've seen more we accept Bitcoins than any of the other ones.
If you got into Bitcoin when it first started, you could be a millionaire. But now
that it's getting big and everybody's jumping on it now, it's just going to drive it down. So thought that could be another project I could do, but I think by the time I get it up and going, I'd be fine.
And a lot of the major banks that were actually like the bank holders for Bitcoin have closed down.
Well,
with people's money in it. So the next topic, E.T., the dumping ground has been found. I don't know if you guys know this, but Xbox is paying so much money to get a nice video documentary of the E.T. dumping ground and all that. Probably just to try to keep their Xbox essentially alive, because a lot of people are having problems with even buying it. You can actually buy an Xbox One for $100 cheaper now, just because there's so many refurbs out there that people are like, I really didn't want this. It was okay.
People are still charging $100 for the first Xbox.
No, Xbox One. You got it. Nice joke. Xbox One. Come on. You get it, right?
Oh, one. Oh, my God. I'm so far behind on Xbox. I thought you meant the very first Xbox.
No. One. But yeah, so they actually uncovered. Everyone thought it was a myth. Everyone thought it didn't mean anything. It was just that they overmade these cartridges, and they were like, okay, so they made so many where they're just going to dump them in a New Mexico dumping ground. And they actually did. There hasn't been a working cartridge retrieved yet, but there is cartridges being retrieved of the E.T. video game. So what do you think they're going to do with them? Because Atari doesn't have anything to do with this right now. Do you think they're going to sell them?
I really don't know.
Because if they sell them, would Atari jump in and be like, whoa, those are ours? Because they buried them.
Is Atari making any money nowadays?
I don't think so, but that's the reason.
Then they're going to be all over it.
That's the reason.
They have a leg to stand on. They're going to jump on it.
Those are my cartridges. I want them back. But really, the game was horrible. If you've ever played it, grab an emulator out there and waste your time playing it, because you're just going to be like, really? This is what games were like? I think Pong was better back in the day. So,
Pong.
Right? Not ping pong, just Pong. And I didn't even have my first console was a Super Nintendo, so I'm that young. Yeah, that's how young I am. All right, Mr. Facebook stalking.
Facebook stalking. This one, I was more excited about until I kind of kept reading about it and how you can turn it off. But basically, if I remember right, I don't want to say they weren't calling it an app, or they were calling it more of a feature, but you can, using the GPS part of a phone, you can find out where your friends are and show up on a map. And it was, I don't know, it's called the Nearby Friends, and I think everybody was just straight went to, this is a horrible thing, you're going to be able to tell where you are. Some some good old pedophile on the internet who has made friends with your 13-year-old daughter is going to be able to know her exact location at any time. And it can be turned off, which is great. I don't want everybody to know where I am. Flip the button, it's off. But I guess when it comes down to kids using Facebook and younger people, they're not going to turn that off all the time.
I think we just reviewed an app the other stream. I can't remember what it was called, but it was more like a hide from my friends, and it was an app that would show you where your friends are, and it would help you avoid them.
See, now that might be more useful.
I don't like this person. Please make sure that my route doesn't go in perfect align with this person.
Well, I mean, how...
That'd be good at a college.
Yeah, well, I mean, that's what I mean. Well, on an app like that, how accurate is it?
Well, I think it uses this feature that if people turn off wouldn't make sense.
Well, I mean, looking at the map, it's how
accurate is that?
Is it going to show the halls in the school so you know to go around them, or is it just going to say everybody's at college A?
True.
So avoid them. Well, of course they're here.
A big college, the library's on a different part of the university, so you could just be like, well, my friend's at the university.
Old douchebag McGee's down there at the library. I better take the scenic route.
Yeah, I'll just I'll go somewhere else. I'll go to the public library because I really don't want to see him.
It blew up real fast, and I saw a couple of articles about this, and then it kind of died down because, I don't know, you're going to have bad people do bad things with it, whether they want to or not, but...
Well, you're going to have a lot of those people. Is it enabled by default?
No, that was one of the big points they were making, that it wouldn't be enabled by default.
Okay, I was going to say, you're going to have a lot of those people that's just like, oh, I'm going to download this app and not realize it's setting in the background telling you where you're at.
Granted, I mean, if they're downloading the app in the first place, the first thing they're going to do is enable it. You don't download something not to use it. And then what they're going to do is forget about it.
Is it a set, it's not Facebook app, it's a whole nother app, is it? Is it called Facebook Nearby?
It's called Nearby Friends.
Oh, So...
It's called a mobile feature. That's what I mean. It's not necessarily an app, but it's a mobile feature. So I don't know if it's.
If they come out with a Nearby Gamer app, I'm gonna be mad. I'm gonna be upset.
That wouldn't be that hard to do.
Just filter out your friends for gamers and hey, he's nearby.
I don't see this being a big problem, but people with kids who have are getting onto Facebook. Like I have a 15-year-old son, and I monitor his crap a good bit. This was something, I don't want his pedophile stalker to know our address.
Just where he goes to school, right?
Well, that's public knowledge. They know.
That's not public knowledge.
Well, they figure out where I live, they're going to know what school he's going to.
True. I guess you could take him out of that school zone. I think when I was a kid, I drove I think it was good 30 or 40 miles just to get to school. Because I didn't want to go to the school that I was in the school zone of. So, but let's see. Are you done with that?
Yeah.
Twitter may let users mute other users. So this is a feature right now that's going on, and it's basically it allows you, instead of saying I don't want to be friends with you anymore, I'm gonna unfollow you. You can just mute them. So okay, so I wrote this on NerbNet Daily last night because I was reading about it, and basically I can see the main feature of this is, say you have a friend that you know is going to be drunk that night, and you don't want to get your phone blown up by that friend, just mute him for the night. And then you can unmute him in the morning when he's sober and he's doing, fine. So
No. You would never, ever want to do that because the stuff he's going to be tweeting out to you, you're going to want for later.
Maybe. Okay, so bad example. But you have to manually unmute them, and you have to manually mute them. But it's kind of weird because instead of, just saying, I'm going to unfollow you, because I don't know, do you get notifications if somebody unfollows you?
No, I don't.
I don't think so.
I don't know if I have that turned off or anything, but I don't.
I think there's a way.
Who would ever unfollow me?
Right.
So.
I think there's a way to get notifications if somebody unfollows you. So maybe this is one of those, you have one of those, again, a stalker that you don't want to piss off and tell them, I'm going to unfollow you. Now you can just mute them. So it's not actually out to the public yet, but it's something that in the future may be enabled for everyone to use.
On my end, that would probably be nice, as I have my own Twitter, but I normally use the DNS Take Back's Twitter, and when all them guys over there start raging, like as far as mod authors start fighting with each other, yeah, it's a constant. You can't keep up with it, and I don't like Twitter's setup. Like when somebody starts having an actual conversation,
Yeah.
it's hard for me to follow it.
Oh yeah, Twitter setup is a lot different than like.
It's great for one burst comment and maybe one reply, but when people start having conversations with it, especially if it's 2 or 3 people that you follow, it can get a little confusing. At least it does to me. Maybe I'm too old for Twitter.
Yeah, just the way the feed falls. Just like
Mm-hmm.
Facebook, the same thing. And YouTube comments, the same thing. It's just the way that it falls. It's just like somebody comments and somebody recomments and somebody recomments on that, and you're just like, how does this messed up
Facebook seems to be
thing
a little better because it kind of keeps them all boom, 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 boom. In a
straight
line.
down? Yeah.
Or maybe that's what I've just gotten used to. But that would be good for some things. You got a couple of friends that are bitch slapping each other over Twitter. You just mute them out, let them get done with it.
Exactly. I think I've read this article that you're about to announce, the 10G.
Oh, let me pull my stuff back up. Yeah. I'm gonna try to summarize this without reading the stuff that honestly makes little sense to me too. But what I'm thinking is, since Google Fiber is becoming a thing now and they're starting to spread out to other cities, they're gonna need routers to keep up with them, because what they were announcing first off was, I think, let's say you could get a terabyte of download speed if you were wired in, but wireless would drop you down to 600 or 700 gigabyte. Is that right?
Sounds more like megabytes. I don't think wireless is that fast yet.
That's what what I was saying. Of course, I wire everything, and I don't really like wireless, even though to me it doesn't feel that different. I just like being wired. It makes me feel better about my connections.
I don't like wireless because every once in a while you'll have that hiccup where it's just like I can't find where the connection is. Yeah.
Even though everything I got that needs to be hooked up is pretty much in the office with me, except for a few boxes on the TVs and phones. But what I'm thinking getting is they're beefing up the Wi-Fi from your routers to make them actually go faster, which just for me, my internet connection isn't fast enough that my router can't keep up with it anyway. I'm not it's so hot in here because of all the screens and computers. I got the window open, but I'm just saying, I'm not losing anything using wireless connection because my internet's not that strong. But if I got Google Fiber, I would want something like this. And it's a whole bunch of technical talk, but basically it's just going to be getting faster. And if it does do that, I would be more than happy to probably switch everything to wireless and start moving stuff around.
Yeah.
Unless completely misreading this.
I can see if it gets as fast as what it is now for wired, I could see a lot of people moving to wireless.
Let's say right now, like I said, everything in my office, both my computers, the Xbox, and everything is plugged straight into the router. But I have at some point wanted to, my wife isn't going to like this, but I would like to take over the dining room for a few other projects, but I'd need to put a computer in there and I would have to run it wirelessly. And I'm not that comfortable with my router right now to do that.
Yeah.
Or to do big stuff. Let's say I was going to stream out of there. That one.
Well, if you can get like a 50-foot NIC cable for pretty cheap,
That would be what I do. I would literally run it down the hall while I was using it, and then wrap it up. I've done that before.
Yeah.
But that's kind of sucks. That's kind of ghetto. So.
Your wife's not gonna like it, but you're gonna do it anyways.
Well, she's gonna have to deal with it when stuff like that happens.
That's how I felt back when I was doing a lot of streaming and stuff.
So basically, if I was to stream or play games on the Xbox, I'm gonna be wired. Just makes me feel better. I might be just completely wasting it, but it makes me feel a lot better.
Oh, by the way, guys, Twitter is open. You can actually see it on the screen right now. If you have any tweets that you want to tweet us back at, you can go ahead and tweet us at NerbNet Daily. We'll read those as well. Shadow Child said, an example of why I hate wireless. Wired, I get an average of 50 megabytes. Wireless, which I currently have to use, I get a max of 10 megabytes, and that's in perfect conditions. Yeah, like I can be like right next to my router, and I'll get like close to what wired is, but then I move a foot away, it's just like drops. Like what? It's a foot away. There's nothing in between me and the wireless.
You go into our router is on the one wall of the house, like let's say the east wall. You can go in the living room, everything's perfect. You step into the kitchen, what Wi-Fi signal?
Yeah.
We've never heard of such a thing.
Wi-Fi in the kitchen? Who needs online cookbooks, right?
No.
All right, so we have a $1,500 Google Glass, costs only $80 to make. Now, this is a little absurd for them to actually say, you know what, we're going to charge $1,500 for this. I know that this is like, go ahead, and they already had this set up to where it's like, go ahead and have, what is it? I'm trying to think. A private invitation only to this thing.
Mm-hmm.
But then make a private invitation and then make it cost $1,500 when the parts only cost $80. And they had that one day back a couple weeks ago where it was like, you know what, we're gonna go ahead and sell. We're gonna sell all of these, as many as we can for one day to anybody who signs up on the website. But still, $1,500 for this, and they're probably gonna come out with a new. This version's been out for how long?
A while.
Yeah.
A while.
And they're probably going to come out with a new version when it goes public. So you're paying $1,500 for something that's absurdly stupid at the same time.
You're paying $1,500 for something that's beta, alpha, whatever you want to call it. The article I found, which is pretty much the same thing you have, just said that when it probably comes out, it's going to drop way down to a more understandable price.
Yeah.
$300 to $500 to $600, which...
The most expensive piece of technology found in Google Glass is apparently its processor, and that's only valued at $14 or $13.96. Really? Wow.
Yeah, I mean, it's another business thing, and they need to make a profit, but Google doesn't seem like the type to put that much of a profit on it. Yeah. I don't know. Let me see if I can find it. One of the articles I'd found about this also had one for iPods, or no, iPads, what the actual cost of them was, and I never saw the price, but it's pretty much the same thing. If you're paying $600 for an iPad that to build costs $89 with labor.
Well, the thing I get is like cell phones these days that cost, they have a sale going on. I was going to go ahead and pick up an HTC One M8, but then I was just like, I'll wait until a better phone comes out because it just doesn't seem right to me. But it was $99 for what could possibly cost. I know cell phones actually cost up in the $500-$600 to make. And they're only subsidized because you're signed into a 2-year contract. So, but, I mean, I don't know. I kind of see the iPad costing more than $200-$300, maybe $400 or $500 to make.
I'm sure.
It is stating in that article though that you posted $300 to $500 is what the reported cost of this device is going to be when it ships out to actual public people. So that makes more
cost,
sense.
I could consider buying one, but
yeah,
I'm not going to pay $1,500 for something I would probably be. I'm maybe even too embarrassed to wear in public. Until more people started doing it.
It would be nice if they came out with a version without a camera on the front, because that's the most controversial thing right now. Is people's like, you're going to go into a restroom with Google Glass on your face where it has a camera. And I know there's an LED that lights up when you're recording, but still, there's ways to get around that. Break the LED if anything.
Oh, you're never going to be able to go into a strip club wearing your glasses.
I know, right? But these are I need them. They're doctor prescribed. I need them.
And then the old wife or girlfriend figures out how to tap into it and turns it on, and you're in a place you ain't supposed to be.
Yeah. So
lives ruined everywhere.
That's what iPhone does, anyways. Lives ruined everywhere. There's actually I didn't put this story in here, but did you hear this story about a wife? I guess this guy went out with his friends and decided to have a heyday, and his friends talked him into downloading Snapchat.
Oh, God.
Well, the phone's iPhone account was synced up with his wife's phone. And it was synced up with his son's iPad.
As it should be.
All to the cloud, so all the photos he uploaded that he took, Snapchat only keeps it for a few seconds, but actually the phone keeps it for longer. So those were already uploaded to the cloud, and oh wow, and it showed that he was going to strip clubs and stuff as well. he showed it. He was texting and calling people that were from the Snapchats. Oh wow! The wife is now actually bringing up divorce in a lawsuit, as well as punitive damages for the son seeing the images.
Yeah, of course. So what? She's gonna sue her husband?
Yeah, sue her husband for all that. So not only get money back from that, but also get a divorce out of it.
Well, was he doing something actually wrong? I mean, some people don't like their significant others going to strip clubs, but was he actually doing something he wasn't supposed to be doing?
Well, Snapchat and calling other women.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
He's screwed.
Yeah.
Better get a damn good lawyer.
You're right. Right. All right, so badass little computer, huh?
Yes. And I guess if you bring this up, let me find it.
I got it.
These are all the new raids, these little brick computers.
I've actually wanted one just for like a media center, but then I got Plex with the Chromecast, and it just seems to work way better.
Mm-hmm.
But
I've seen some, and I actually have a friend who bought two or three of the Acer ones, and he said about $250 a piece, and he loves them. I mean, he uses them for like his give his wife and his two kids, just a little computer to have around the house so they'd stay off his.
Well, my thing about them is it'd be cool at $250, but then you have to get a hard drive and you have to get RAM for them.
I don't know if he bought one of the real small ones like you see in businesses. I don't think it's one of these little bricks like.
Yeah, because the bricks don't come with and they take M.2 hard drives as well, or solid state drives, which is just like a little circuit that same thing that my Google Chromebook takes. But and they're kind of expensive. For $99, you can get 128 gig. And they did make a model that actually is a little bit bigger, because I've read up about these, that actually takes a regular 2.5 inch drive. So that would be a little bit worth it, but then you still have to buy the RAM. So.
See, these will hold one of those little, especially this one that'll hold. I don't even know where I found the video. I actually watched the video and then found this article. But what they've managed to squeeze in this little thing is an i5 dual-core hyper-threaded 2.8 gigahertz and 3.4 at Intel turboed, and this one includes a GTX 760.
Yeah, and this one includes a 2.5 inch drive if wanted. So,
and it's how they got it all in there, because all the bricks that were coming out before didn't include. They were just using the onboard graphics and the Intel chips, but this one has a complete standalone NVIDIA GTX 760 in it, and I just don't know how they got it all in there without it all melting.
Exactly. That's the one thing that
me.
It's got to be so underclocked for that GTX 760 to actually run at a decent.
You know what? I don't even know what the reference GTX 6 or 760 runs at. This one's at 657 megahertz.
Yeah, it says it's unclear if it's a GTX 760M or a GTX 760, and I'm betting you anything it's an M.
The video I watched was from PAX, and it was from the Gigabyte guys and with the NVIDIA guy standing right there, and I swore they said 770 or 780. I didn't think it was a 760.
Wow.
Because whatever it was, I was like, Jesus.
Yeah, an i7 version is also said to be on the cards.
A standalone computer that has an SSD drive, USB 3.0, its own graphics card, an i5, or up to an i7 that's supposed to be on the way that you can literally put in your back pocket and take with you.
That is crazy. But what's the cost? What's the cost?
They haven't announced the cost. That's the thing.
See, everything gets smaller, the cost gets a lot higher. So, you can look at building a media PC that's like 3 times as big as just one of these small ones for probably a third the price.
I'm trying to think of a use where it could be something you might want portable, like having that much power that's not a laptop.
The projector one was actually really cool, because that would be good for offices, because that's portable and it comes with a screen on it. You can just cast it. It's not the best screen, but it comes with something for PowerPoint.
Yeah. Well, see, this would be great for me to take to work with me, because my computer is one. Have you ever, you know what I'm talking about? Those little thin boxes that literally. My computer at work is about this big. It's a little square, and all I'm doing is when I log on to my computer at work, I'm logging on to a server that's in California, and I'm running off the server. And even though it's got good, hardware, and it's Windows 8.1, it runs like crap because they don't give us a good internet connection. We have a one up and one down connection at work. And this will be great for me to take to work with me, and that way when the IT guy shows up at work, I cram this thing in my pocket. Because me and him are at war. We are at war. And everything he does to disable our stuff on our... He's a nice guy, and we get along and everything, but he's got to do... his boss is making him do stuff to disable, and I just go right back and break it and tell everybody how to fix it.
Yeah, we got like Google... They use DNS caching at my work to make sure that we don't go to any like gaming sites and all that, and most of us just stay on Google DNS, so we avoid that part. But
that's what they do to us. We have a filter that it runs through, and I just disable it all the time. Yeah, dark. It's very, very small.
Yeah, it's. I would imagine. Can you imagine like running a server company with those things?
Oh dear God, you wouldn't need
that much space at all.
You could stack them all in a bathroom and run an air conditioning to it, and that way. I want to say they're like, I don't know if you can see this at all. Dark. It's basically just a little thing holds all my screwdrivers when I build stuff, but it's very similar to this size. You can imagine my hand with it. It's small.
I think everyone that went to, I can't remember what convention it was something for Gigabyte, but they actually gave out bricks to everyone that went there.
I don't want to hear that.
They didn't give out that version, but they gave out probably like an i3 version. Still, I want one for an i3 version.
So that'd be nice just to have, I don't know, in your living room, or if you did have a TV in your kitchen or something, you just pop that down on the counter beside it and get one of them little them rubber roll-up keyboards. You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah,
like $5.
I don't know if I could deal with those though. They're just not as accurate as I want. Like now, I've been taking my Chromebook to work, and for IPM, which is like a monitoring system for my work, it shows all the servers that are up and all the servers that are down. I just set my Chromebook to the side, and then I can just use Synergy, which allows me to use my keyboard and mouse for both. So I could just Synergy over and then actually use that for a monitor screen. So now I have 3 monitors at my work that I can use.
Look at you.
I know, right? So awesome. All right, so the next article, Neversoft merges with Infinity Ward. You guys know what Neversoft is. If you ever played Tony Hawk, you probably saw that eye with the sword through it. That's Neversoft for you. Apparently, they actually helped out with Ghost. And I didn't know it, but apparently, because I think I had Ghost but never tried it. But they helped out with Ghost, and now they're actually merging with Infinity Ward to help create more
playable stuff.
Yeah, my main thing about this is Tony Hawk gone then?
Is it still around?
I don't know if it's still around, but I was hoping for another one to come out.
I played the pants off Tony Hawk.
You saw the April 1st hoverboard thing that he did, didn't you?
What was the last time I played it was on the first PlayStation, I think.
Oh, this was a video gimmick that they made for Back to the Future. They made a hoverboard, but they did it all green screen, and they made it look like it was an actual product. They had a product page and all that. Yeah, that's the last time I seen Tony Hawk. But I mean, I miss those games. They brought them back in HD for the PC, but I still miss new games that's coming out. So,
I had it for the first Xbox. That's what I had it for. That was the last one I played.
Yeah, sports games that come with like actually skating and snowboarding. Remember when like the Xbox 360 came out and like Shaun White was like snowboarding left and right? There's video games for him. It just doesn't seem like there's that many sports games for that type of stuff anymore. It's all basketball, baseball, it's all the generic sports.
They're gonna stick with the classics.
I don't know where I read this, but I heard that in the next X Games will have Call of Duty competitions.
Really?
Yeah. I gotta look this up just to make sure, but I swear I read this somewhere.
I mean, that's a little surprising, but even if they do something like that, Call of Duty, I love Call of Duty. I really do, but I think it's dead. I think that franchise is dead.
Here you go right here. Like Call of Duty, then you can now win an X Games medal. X Games officially, along with Major League Gaming, announced Monday that they've added video gaming to its list of medal events. And no, the judges won't be scoring players on whose thumbs can execute the best YOLO flip. Gamers will be judged on their ability to play Call of Duty Ghost. What? X Games and now video games. joined together. What's your take on that?
I like seeing MLG gaming in mainstream, but maybe not the X Games.
And why Call of Duty out of all of them?
Yeah, exactly. That's the one I think's just it's just gone downhill. Maybe Battlefield, since not even Battlefield. I don't even know which one I would rank as the most popular now of the shooters, but I don't know. Not Call of Duty.
Yeah, me either.
Maybe if they play Call of Duty 4 or something like that.
I don't know what the heck a YOLO flip is, but
the 360 no scopes. me and a
You're
friend
right. They're
bought-
probably gonna qualify people on 360 no scopes.
Bull. The quick scope of stuff. That's a whole other topic that angers me. But me and a friend actually went to GameStop a few weeks back and bought Call of Duty 4 for like $5 each. And this is the most fun I've had playing games in a long time.
I would like to go back to Call of Duty 2 on the PC and play that.
4 by far was my favorite because it just wasn't broken. It all seemed to work right, and not that many people complained about, oh, this is too overpowered, this is underpowered, and that doesn't work. Blah blah. It's just.
Well, I
very
remember
fair.
having Call of Duty 2 at like LAN parties at my school.
Really?
Yeah, it was awesome. We all load up on when there was no work to do at my school. We'd all load up on Call of Duty in the computer room, and
So it must be how old I am. When we did it on the computer labs and stuff like that, somebody had put Quake somewhere on the.
oh, awesome.
I don't know where that was. It was on there somewhere, but a bunch of us knew how to get to it. I remember I had a math class that was in a computer lab for some reason, and that's all we did for the whole year, just play Quake. And it's nice and quiet in the class, and I was sitting here, somebody go, shut up.
We had
Everybody had to act like it was like they were working.
in Excel and Word classes. We had StarCraft, or no, not StarCraft. It was Warcraft, the actual what is it called, strategy game. We actually played Warcraft, and I remember every time, more work, sir. I'm just like, wow.
We weren't that advanced yet.
Yeah. Aww. See, I'm a youngin'. That's why.
Not that old, but gee, yeah, I remember it wasn't Quake wasn't like brand new. It was really old, but it was still playable.
Gotcha.
And it really got fun. It really did get fun until everybody started yelling at each other. There was a German kid who set up most of it, and he'd start screaming in German. And nobody understood what he was saying, and the teacher just she rolled her eyes and didn't want to get into it with him, so she just looked back down.
Wow. All right, so 8K TV.
Yeah. Okay. Somebody in Japan started looking at all these 4K TVs and monitors supposed to coming out and said, "That's not good enough for him. He needs to see the zits on top of the zits on the news guy's face."
That
So
camera's
apparently
really small, though.
apparently they are starting to test 8K resolution, and it was I'm trying to find the name of it, I don't forget, but they were showing it off in a trade show in Japan, and apparently I don't think there's really very much information. I just can't believe that they've already started showing off in 8K when 4K really hasn't taken off or become what do you call it? You can get a 4K TV if you want, but you're going to pay through the nose for it because it's still new technology.
$2,500, something like that. There's actually decent 4K monitors that are coming out that aren't that bad, $600-700, but they're monitors, they're not TVs. So you're looking at a totally different size. You're looking at 24 inch, monitors, and not 60 inch TVs. Which I think 4K on a 25 inch monitor is probably horrible, considering that text and all that doesn't resize as well as you want it to. It's not made for 4K. Like, you would technically take 4 1080p's and squeeze them down into one monitor.
Yeah. It's not. I'm happy with I think 4K is. I'm not a huge HD guy. Like, I don't want, regular RCA component connections, but HDMI is great to me. 4K, from what I've seen in actual person, is just fabulous. I don't see a need for 8K, or it's nothing. They're never going to get my money for 8K for a long time. They're going to have to come out with 147K for me to finally buy an 8K. But that's just my opinion. I know there's a lot of people that just want the next big thing and want that high resolution. Like me, I'm sitting here with 2 graphics cards with 2 component outputs that I can't use, but I'm okay with it.
What do you mean? Because when you use an SLI, you can only use one?
Well, that, and I mean, my cards have 2 DVI outputs, 1 HDMI, and a component, which is for 4K. But I have no monitors that can support 4K, so...
Gotcha. Yeah, I don't have any monitors for 4K either. I just graduated to 1080p like 6-7 months ago on all my monitors.
I can't even use HDMI. Well, my plan is to eventually get a TV, and I'm going to put a little 32-inch, 42-inch, put it up on the wall above my computer. I think like you used to have it set up, or maybe you do now, and I'll run my HDMI cable up to that.
I did have it set up where my main monitor was a 42-inch, but and then when I went down to the smaller monitors, the 22 inches, it was just like, it was hard to grasp at first, but the resolution is so much better and so much clearer for the eyes to see.
So I'm running at 24 inches, my main one, a little Samsung 24, and I don't want smaller, and I don't really want bigger. Like I said, me and my wife kind of share the office. That TV that's behind me is just an old projector TV, so I told her I was going to build a new computer, a little tiny one using ITX motherboard and something real small, and put a TV on, a big 50-inch TV on the wall, and she can just use that. No, we don't have to download movies to my computer and then pop them over to the Xbox or whatever. We'll just use that as a cable box, basically.
I'm telling you, man, get Plex. You'll thank me.
I do have Plex.
Get a Chromecast.
I have a Roku in our bedroom.
Chromecast is so much better. Just
I already have the Roku.
Use your iPhone. It's $35. Use your iPhone and press a button and cast it over. That's pretty much it.
The Plex part works great.
I have my family across town.
We're generally always in here. That's the thing, though. It doesn't really do us any good in the bedroom.
Yeah, well, I have my family across town that I gave them a Chromecast, and I gave them access to my Plex. So now they can watch movies and stuff at their house from my house.
Well, maybe I don't have it set up right. I do notice that when Plex is running, it's drawing on my computer.
Yeah, it does. It draws a significant amount depending on what type of TV and what the resolution is that you're pulling from. That's why I have it on my secondary computer.
That's what I'm thinking. To do something like that on this other computer I want to build. Plus, it gave me a reason to build another computer.
Exactly. Yeah.
Which was fine. It's not the draw it's pulling on my computer isn't bad, but when I'm doing something else, let's say I was streaming something or playing a game, that just little bit would aggravate me, even though I probably wouldn't feel it. I would know that it's doing it. Yeah. Because I used to not stream, but if you use Micro Center Media or use Media Center to stream stuff to your Xbox.
Yeah, it takes a significant amount.
Yeah, my old computer used to wear that thing out. My weaker computer used to just tear it to pieces. But I don't know what I've done different. I stream now just using what's that thing called? Media Player, not the Center, and it doesn't do it near as bad.
Yeah.
And you don't have to go through that media center interface to do it, which is crap to me.
It was horrible. I don't think it's on Windows 8 anymore. I think they skinned it off of there because it was just
I think about it. I've never seen it, but now all I do is hit the Xbox button, go over one to Video Player, and I have a folder on there that just pulls it straight off my videos folder on my computer, and it's no lag, and it doesn't hurt my computer while it's doing it.
Yeah. Let's see. Titan Z postponed.
Titan Z, which anybody was here the last, I don't know, this was probably a month and a half ago. We talked about that new Titan Z, which was
supposed to come out 4 days ago.
Yep, this went 4 days ago, which was supposed to be 780 Ti's on one card.
Yep.
And cost your firstborn plus a kidney. And apparently it's been postponed. My guess is because of that second link I put up there that I'm starting to hear a lot about, which is the R9 295X2, which is basically two 295s on one card, and is from what I've seen getting a lot of good reviews, and also isn't near as expensive. I think NVIDIA pulled that Titan Z to fix something on it. I mean, because this all of a sudden showed up.
Yeah.
I don't think they're very happy with AMD just saying, haha, here you go, and beating them to the punch. So they're either going to add something to it, drop the price.
Yeah, but I think, here's my opinion. I think AMD did the best thing ever by adding a water cooling on the actual, this is the reference design. It has water cooling. If you're going to have two graphics cards so close together, water cooling seems to be a must to get the best performance. This thing only has one fan.
Yeah, they have one fan on it, and that they put in the center to hopefully, one fan on that thing in general is stupid. Even if they should have at least 3 on there. Or maybe, I ain't got my hands on a Titan Z, and I don't think I ever will, but I would love to test it and see.
NVIDIA's reference coolers just suck. They're horrible. They need to get they need to get with these other designers and just be okay, let's do this.
Who besides me is running a reference card?
I'm definitely not.
Let's say, I don't know, it's a 760. How much is the price difference between the reference card and an EVGA card? 10, 15 bucks?
Yeah, it's not that much.
And usually, other than the internals that they're changing, the biggest thing they change is how it's cooled. And for 10 or 15 bucks, somebody is always going to pick the better looking, for one, and more efficient cooler. But with this AMD, with the 295X2 coming with that water cooler, have you shown that picture?
No, let me see it real quick. 295X2.
It's that second link I had on the Google Doc. But what it's got is a water cooler that's directly cooling the chips themselves, and then you got.
There's it broken down, and it looks like a beast. Yeah, it's got an air cooler, just at least one fan, which is okay. But then it's got 2 water coolers for each chipset.
I'm guessing the air cooler on the actual card is for the VRMs for the power delivery on the card itself. Those are being cooled by air, but the chips themselves are getting the water cooling.
And this thing is half the price of the Titan Z, and it's getting great reviews.
It's still expensive. The price that I'm being according to AMD, it's looking at $1,899, $1,800 or $1,900.
I think it was supposed to be out at $1,500, but I can get the price jump.
Still, still at that, it's the AMD equivalent to the Titan Z for half the price.
Yeah, exactly.
Which is par for the course for AMD because that's what they do.
And I've heard that this thing actually gets close to, how when we do SLI or we do dual GPUs, we sometimes get like maybe 30% performance upgrade. This thing's supposed to get around 50 to 80%.
With 2 of them?
With 2 of them. Yeah, 2 of them.
What do you call that when you?
I can't remember.
Oh, I can't remember when you have a card that has 2. It's called dual. This will be crossfire. 2 dual crossfired or quad crossfired, but it's
kind of like quad crossfire, but it's only 2 cards. But yeah,
they call it something. If you're going to be, just so you know, if you're building a computer and you want 4 graphics cards with 1 chips, or you want 2 graphics cards with 2 chips, there's some special stuff you got to pay attention to when you're setting it up, because it's not 4 cards with 1 chip is not the same as 2 cards with 2 chips. It doesn't work the same way.
You do have to be careful though with this thing, because you need a decent power supply that has I can't remember what the wattages is, but the 6-pin connectors have to be the same voltage. You can't actually mix them up, or you can actually explode.
I want to say this was extremely power hungry, and I want to say it was I can't see it from. I got the same picture you had, and from one review, I think it had 2 8-pins, which
Is it 8 pins? It might be 8 pins. Yeah.
A lot of cards, even the higher end ones, are using one 8 pin and one 6 pin. There's not too many using two 8 pins. I may be wrong about that, but I want to say this was something noticeable. So running two of them, you better have a power supply that comes with 4 8 pins and can handle it and does all its voltage on a single rail and stuff like that.
Yeah.
There's a lot of things considered, but believe me, if you're doing this, you probably know what you're doing because you're dropping $4,000 on graphics cards alone.
Yeah, you're not gonna drop $4,000 on graphics cards and not know what you're doing, or unless you got rich and you're just like,
yeah.
But then you're gonna have somebody else build it too. You're
ask
not gonna
someone else who knows. Then you may want to run 2 GPUs with this instead of 1.
Yeah.
Or GPUs, GPSUs. I'm sorry. Power supplies.
All right, so that's all the topics we have for today. Let's go ahead and go with this week's agenda. What's on your plate?
I am working on a super secret, massively big project. So
Is it Minecraft?
no, it is completely non-game related at all. But
That's good.
Most of my time is gone to work. We're hitting the summer season, and like yesterday, I got off at 9 o'clock last night, which is unheard of for a Saturday. But I actually made a little extra money because I had to stay late. So
That's good.
pay me. Really nothing. I'm always looking for new projects, and I got a bunch of little stuff to do. But
I'm hopefully going to bring back NerbNet Daily this week. Jess was sick all this week, so I was taking care of her. So, but hopefully that'll be back with daily articles on NerbNetDaily.com. If you guys want to, let me check real quick. You can actually go to NerbNetDaily.com, and if you scroll down to the bottom, let me go ahead and screen share this. If you scroll down to the bottom, there's a section to subscribe to our mailing list. And if you subscribe to this, we'll send this out whenever we go live. Or if we have news articles we want to show you guys, we'll have like a news article that's sent out. But if you want to, you can subscribe to that. Again, NerbNetDaily.com. So you can see our recent tweets, recent posts, all that. I did post the Mute Your Twitter Friends. I might post a couple of these other articles on there. And look at that! Madcock got his first article on there. It was the Facebook one. Nice. And it's actually pretty lengthy if you want to read up about that. It's longer than any of mine.
I noticed when I got done and looked at it, and I started looking at some of yours. I'm like, dang, I went all out.
Yeah, you went all out. But yeah, so if you guys want to, you can subscribe to there. We're still looking for casts, so we're still looking to grow our cast. We actually lost our cast. We lost a member, but we're looking to grow 4 to 5 people. If you have a great mic and you have fun recording together, let us know. If you know a lot about news, definitely helps out. Or if you like to read about news, definitely helps out. You can ask us anything at NerbNet Daily. Again, there wasn't that much tweeting going on today, but this is more for throwing up on the NerbNet Daily YouTube channel and getting more people to watch it. So hopefully next week we'll have more viewers. We can hope. We can only hope. Other than that, my week's agenda is pretty much just getting back to NerbNet Daily.
And streaming games, right?
Yeah. I haven't streamed games in forever, but I've been looking into getting into an MMO, but I'm not sure which one to get into.
Somehow I got pulled into, well, I could almost be doing it nightly, but streaming some of the DNS stuff at night, and I kind of hit it or miss it when work's there. Oh, I made myself a website. I forgot about that. I own madcock83.com now.
Madcock83, huh?
And GoDaddy is pretty persistent that they think I'm building a porn site because of the name.
Wow, it actually looks pretty good. You used Bootstrap?
No, that one right now is Weebly.
Oh, you use Weebly. Gotcha.
I have a love-hate relationship with them, but for now, until I get some other things done and I actually sit down and write it, I'll probably write it just how I want it exactly. I don't know how I do it. Oh. But it's there. It's just pretty much just a place to hold links and a blog that I put up that I used to use just for DNS news, but it's also kind of got a bunch of my stuff on there too.
I'll go ahead and show you guys what that looks like right now. That's Madcock83. I do stuff. I don't know what else to say. But no, like this whole schematic right here with the blockiness is actually it's something that is called Bootstrap, and it's what they use. But yeah, nice, looks good. Hey, wait,
Hey,
we're casting on here. No way.
Yeah, NerbNet's on there too. I forgot about that.
That's awesome. Cool. All right. I think that's it for this cast. We'll go and see you guys next week, next Sunday at 2 p.m. We won't be late, hopefully, next week. That was my fault, but
Demerits.
Demerits for me. You can get sandals or flip-flops. Wow. $21.50 for flip-flops for the DNS pack.
Hey, that's all cost. No money is made from that, but that's how much each of those items costs, or that company charges me to build or make and ship.
So basically they order through the cart here and it ships to them, and basically you designed all this stuff and they have options too.
I actually forgot to put it on, but I own Mad's Tea. That's one I made specifically for me, and that's the one I got a few weeks ago.
Nice.
But yeah, what the company does is whatever you build the design, they say, well, it's going to cost $15.30 to make this. You can charge $2,000 if you want, but you're going to pay us $15.40. So whatever price is up there is however much they charge me to make it.
Gotcha. Do the people pay them, or do they pay you and then you pay them?
Through Shirt. It's Spreadshirt, I think that's what it's called. You pay through PayPal. You deal with them completely. They do all the refunds or shipping back. And now that you've got me on the screen, I got it sitting right here. This is awesome. I don't know if you can see it.
Nice.
And the back of it.
Oh, wow. That's awesome.
And it's got my little chicken down there at the bottom.
That's perfect.
I got my wife one too. Or she's got the pink DNS shirt. But there's going to be a lot more ones coming up there pretty soon.
Sweet.
Much more newer designs. But yeah, you can actually use that site for yourself if you got like a little event, like a family thing you want to do. You can make like a design and order 5 of them for you and your family, and it's cheap. It's probably one of the cheaper services I've found that handles stuff like that. Maybe we'll drop some NerbNet daily stuff up there.
Yeah, once we get like 500 million viewers, right? Get very popular.
No, you just need 10. Somebody will buy a shirt.
Somebody buy one. But we'll see you guys in the next NerbNet Daily Podcast. You guys have a great
take it easy.
day.